I really wasn't sure if I was going to film a video this week. Today I've written over 3,000 words. While I'm making my morning tea, I'm gonna kind of update you a little bit. I'm considering changing the city in which the story takes place in. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Meadow and I'm an independent fantasy and romance author. I really wasn't sure if I was going to film a video this week, but for whatever reason, last night being Sunday, I had such a spark ignited in me, and partially could be because of how much reading I've been doing. I think that I've just been very inspired, and I knew even last night that I was going to wake up today and get back at my computer, start writing again, and film a video for this week. So that is exactly what I'm doing. I am doing another writing vlog. I'm working on draft 2 of my project called Project Artlit. It is a sapphic contemporary romance. It is friends to lovers, forced proximity, fake dating scenario. It is so much fun and definitely something that I need to be working on right now. I'm keeping this intro really short. To be frank with everyone, this intro is actually being filmed later in the day. I have been filming all day, but I haven't had the opportunity to sit down and talk. I've really just been writing, and so let's just get into writing for the day. I've been just really excited to share this. All right, so today I've written over 3,000 words, which is incredible. I'll put the exact word count on the screen. As you might have seen from one of those clips, I did not start off the day super great, and it was only for a little bit. I think I was overly excited to write that when I sat down, I kind of forgot how to, or I didn't know where to start. There was so much hype in my head to start writing this morning. I was starting right at 9 a.m. and then I kind of just froze. But that is okay. I got through it. I looked at the chapter at a new angle, started it in a different way, and I was able to make it through. I have 2 chapters written today so far. I am really pleased with my progress. I wanted to try something a little bit different today, so I've been writing in about 20-minute sprints, and then in between I've been doing a lot of reading or just refilling my water, using the washroom, that sort of thing. Anything to give my body and my mind a little bit of a break. I think that's been working pretty well today. I might start doing more writing sprints like that. Typically when I write, I try to do like 45-minute sprints, and then I write and then I take a break, and then start of the hour, I go again. But I find that today it's been working really well to do shorter sprints, and I haven't found myself burning out quite yet. The only reason that after my lunch break, I haven't gone back to writing yet, just so you guys know, it is about 3:30. That is because I got so close to finishing my current read that I needed to finish it. There was no way that I could focus on my writing because I had about, I think it was like 80 pages left in my book, so I had to finish it. And I'm just gonna take a moment to talk about this book right here. If you don't know what this book is, you might have been living under a rock, and that's okay. I'm not gonna judge you, but just know that everything they say about this book is true. It is beautifully written. It is devastating. The first part in the book took me a while to get through, mostly because I think I've just been a little bit fatigued with training montages and a main character who's like just found out they have these powers that they never knew they had all their life. And academia as well, I think it was kind of, I just think I've been fatigued by that a little bit. And also maybe I don't want to be in school because I've actually been out of school for almost a year now, and so maybe I just don't want to read about school, and that's fair. But I pushed through because I knew that I knew that I needed to read this book for many reasons, and I'm so glad that I did, because I couldn't stop. Starting from last night, I think I started sometime in the evening, probably around 6 or 7 p.m. I started reading from the top of part 2. I'm just trying to take a look at where I started, because this is really going to show how much I've read today. I started at page 219, and then I got to page 527 about an hour ago, I want to say. Yeah. I couldn't stop. Like I said, I was reading in between my 10 minutes. As soon as my 20 minutes was up, I was like, great, stop. I would read for the entire 10 minutes typically, and then I would go back to writing. And then I had a bit of a longer break at one point for my like lunch and such, and then I couldn't put it down. So anyway, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about this book because, oh my goodness. And thank goodness I have the sequel almost, like I've had it suspended for my library holds for a little bit. I have the audiobook version, and as soon as I knew last night that I was going to finish this book today, or very soon, I unsuspended that hold. So I should be getting that hold soon, and then hopefully the trilogy, or the third in the trilogy, will come soon after. Anyway, I'm devastated. That book, definitely very different from the manuscript I'm writing right now, which is actually kind of nice. Sometimes reading a completely different genre from what you're writing is super helpful, at least what I found in my opinion. Not reading a contemporary romance right now has really helped me separate when I'm trying to write and when I'm trying to take a break from writing. So having that book, and funnily enough, the next book I have, because I've been getting my library holds all at once, I'll just show you, is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang as well. I will be pretty much immediately hopping into Catabasis, which I know is academia, and so I'm hoping that I like it as much as I love the Poppy War. We'll see though. We'll see. But yeah, it's just really funny how I ended up getting 2 of her books like right back to back, but not in the same series. Anyway, I know that this has not been about writing, but this has kind of taken over my life today. But I am really into this manuscript right now. I'm so happy that I have the time this week to write. Just to give you an idea, looking at the week ahead here, I don't know how many days I'll film. Tomorrow I'll be able to get some writing in, but I do work all day Wednesday, and then Thursday hopefully I can get some more writing in as well. And so over the course of the next few days, I'm hoping to get some good writing in. I mean, today I've already done quite a bit. I'm really happy about that. I think I'm gonna try to write 1 more chapter and then take a break from the day. Go to the library, drop off my holds, get some more books, and then probably just take the rest of the night off and do something fun for myself. Not that writing isn't fun. It is fun, but it's also work in my mind. I do want to make sure that I have a tendency to burn myself out. If you've watched previous vlogs of mine, I do that a lot. All right, I'm gonna get back into writing this afternoon, and let's see if I can get 1 more chapter done. Good morning, everyone. It is now Thursday. It has been a little while since I've actually spoken to you guys, so I thought that while I'm making my morning tea, I'm gonna kind of update you a little bit. So on Tuesday, I had a writing session in the morning. As you would have seen, I was filming some clips. I realized that I didn't actually talk and give a actual speaking update on what I had done. It was quite a short writing session that morning. I think I wrote for about 2 hours and I wrote just over 2,000 words, I think, something like that, which is pretty good in that amount of time. And then that afternoon I had to go in for a shift at work. I was doing some maintenance, and so that kind of took up a couple hours of my time. And then by the time I got home, I ended up, what was I doing that afternoon? I was doing some baking, prepping things for dinner, and then I kind of took the evening off from there. So I didn't end up getting back into writing. This week I've kind of had a lot of things going on. My focus has been a little bit all over the place since Monday, since I last talked to you. So writing hasn't been my top priority. That's okay, it happens. Yesterday I had a full shift at work, so I was working, it was from 7:30 to 4, I believe. And then when I got home from work yesterday, I decided to do some crafting instead. I finally finished the majority of the Christmas gifts that I'm making for the holiday season, so that's exciting. I'm very, very glad about that. I think I spent 4 hours on that last night, which is a lot of hours now that I think about it. But it's Thursday morning. I am here and I'm excited to write again. I have most of the day to write today, and I plan to write for most of the day. I know that I have to do a couple of admin things that I'm probably going to get done first thing this morning so that I can not focus on it so much, but also because there's a deadline as of 1 p.m. today. So I want to make sure that I get that done. So where I last left off in the draft, I spent a lot of Tuesday just going over the chapters that I wrote on Monday. After some reflection on this work that I did on Monday, I realized that I left a lot of description out. I really like working on descriptions, but I found that some of my descriptions were kind of lacking. I had 2 new locations in 2 different chapters when I was working on Monday, but I didn't really describe them very well. As of Monday, they were just kind of these empty voids where my characters were acting, and I mentioned a bed and a closet, and so it didn't really, it wasn't very good description. And for a draft 2, I pride myself on updating my descriptions and making sure that the world is as organic and well-rounded as possible. So I went back and made sure that those descriptions were good, and so now they actually feel like rooms. They feel like spaces within my world, which is much better than it was before. I'm gonna get get my glass so I can froth my milk. Anyway, so I worked on that on Tuesday, and then I think I wrote one other chapter. Like I said, I didn't do like a whole lot of work, but a lot of it was just sort of updating and making sure that I'm staying consistent with my descriptions. This was an incredible purchase. I do not regret this milk frother one bit. I definitely frothed too much milk though, so I'm gonna put it back in the fridge. So yeah, that's kind of my update right now. My tea is made. Wonderful. Just have a chai, and now I'm gonna go, like I said, I'm gonna do some admin stuff first, and then I'm gonna get into do some more writing. And I don't know, do I want to set a goal for myself today? Because Monday I wrote about 5,000 words, Tuesday I wrote about 2,000, and this very well could be my last day of writing before the holidays. You know what, I think I'm gonna try to round it out. I'm gonna give myself a nice pressure-free goal. I'm gonna try to do at least 3,000 words, because then that would be about 10,000 words this week before we go into the holidays, which will be nice. It's not guaranteed that this is my last writing session, but it very well could be. Technically, I have a writing session on Monday next week. However, because I've just picked up a couple more shifts at work before I go to the holidays, I may need to skip writing that day, or at least the majority of the writing that day, and get some other things done before I have to leave, because I'm traveling a bit for the holidays, because my family's kind of a little bit all over, not too far, but enough that I kind of have to spread out my holidays. So let's aim for 3,000. I think that is a very obtainable goal. That is about 2 chapters, depending on the length of the chapters, of course. Let's see if I can do that, and then it'll just be a nice 10,000 words to lead me into the new year. Yeah, let's just get right into that. Hello everyone, we've made it to the end of the writing vlog for this week. Today I ended up writing over 3,000 words. I'll put the exact total on the screen right now, which is very exciting. I reached nearly 3,000 words, which, as a reminder, that was my goal for today. I almost got there in the first chapter that I wrote. It was kind of a beefy chapter, but I had a little bit of momentum and I didn't want to cut it too short, and so I ended up going over and writing a second chapter, especially because the chapter that followed is a lot of fun. Some thoughts for the day. I definitely at one point I'm considering changing the city in which the story takes place in. So right now the story takes place in the city of Toronto, which is in Ontario, Canada. It is a city that I'm fairly familiar with, but I think that for it to be more accurate, I would need to do a little bit more research on like specific areas. I don't know if I want to keep it that way. I am much more familiar with my home city, and already there are a few places that I've been describing, a few settings in the novel that I've been describing, imagining something for my home city, yet I still say it takes place in Toronto. So I'm definitely gonna have to consider whether or not I'm gonna change the city that they're in. I think there's some bonuses and some negatives if I were to do that. So it's just something I thought of earlier, and I'm gonna consider looking into it. But overall, I'm feeling really good about this book. I'm feeling good about the draft. I think on Tuesday I was a little bit disheartened. I'm not sure quite why. I remember having this moment thinking, is this even what I'm good at? Specifically in terms of writing a romance. And is there something in this novel that is going to be worth my time and worth a reader's time to do? I feel better about that today after writing what I wrote. There's definitely some good things in here. I think it's just since this genre is so different from what I'm used to writing, and when I have the most experience in writing, I think I'm just getting that little bit of imposter syndrome in the back of my head. So I'm gonna keep going with this project. I really do have fun with it. There are some really great scenes in here, and I love the dynamic between my two main characters. It is so sweet. As I said this morning, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing any writing next week. I know for sure I'm not doing any writing tomorrow, which is why I'm ending this vlog here. So this could very well be the last writing session of 2025, which is a little bit crazy to think about, to be completely honest. If you watched my last video I posted, I was reflecting on this past year that I've had, and really I have done so much this year, so proud of what I've done, and now that it's almost over, it's kind of, I think it's a little bit bittersweet in certain cases, but for the most part, I'm very, very excited for the new year. And I'll be picking up this novel right where I left off and really just keep pushing myself to try new things and to keep writing. That's the biggest thing for me, is to be consistent with my writing, because it is so interesting to me when I tell people in my day-to-day life that I'm a novelist and that I'm an author, and every single time they go, "Oh, how do you have the time to write?" And it's something where if you love something enough, you're going to make the time for it, and it doesn't feel like work necessarily. I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting with that, I guess. I think I'm just feeling a little sentimental because it's getting to the end of the year here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am so glad that I was able to do some writing this week and get out one last video. I really enjoy doing these writing vlogs, and so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you're interested in my writing, in my journey, in anything that I do, please consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video. I won't be posting again until the new year officially. I do have some really interesting video ideas planned, so I'm very excited to do that. I am taking a big break over the holidays though. I think from December 20th until the second week of January, I'm taking off from all social media. I am kind of excited for that, to be completely honest. I think that social media is definitely something that takes a lot of energy and a lot of my time, and I am excited to not be on it. I might even not deactivate, but like delete social media apps from my phone for a while, because I think that I could use some time away and not worrying about what people are saying and all that. All this to say, I'll be back in January. I'm going to be continuing working on this project right here. And I'm also going to be coming back to Project Pirate, which is really exciting. Maybe even starting a new project again, which is also very exciting. I certainly like to keep myself busy. I like to change projects up here and there and divide my time a little bit. I think it's just very exciting to be working on different things at once. I will see you guys all in the new year. Bye!